we welcome as our View from the Boundary a guest who performed at the Queen and Duke of Edinburgh's 70th wedding anniversary at Windsor. He's an internationally acclaimed singer, pianist, songwriter, famed for bringing a fresh sound to jazz. During the pandemic, he became a YouTube sensation with his In the Shed performances, with a best-selling album following. He's composed the music and lyrics to very successful stage versions of the popular Zog children's books. The Jungle Book and the Midnight Gang has created award-winning shows for the London Jazz Festival. He's performed in High Society and Guys and Dolls and hosted the BBC's Young Jazz Musician of the Year. His mother, Annabelle, a very well-renowned opera singer. His father, Richard Stilgoe, the lyricist on musicals like Cats and Starlight Express, is a previous View from the Boundary, and it's great to welcome his son, Joe Stilgoe, to View from the Boundary. You've made it.
I made it.
I know. It was so disappointing last time.
I know, but there were lots of disappointments. But to be here, Aggers, is a complete joy, and to be in this box, it's all very overwhelming, but a joy to be here. Thank you.
It's a good effort, because I think, were you in Devon last night or something?
I was at the Sidmouth Jazz Festival last night. I hot-tailed it up the M3 this morning and managed to bring in my 15-foot Steinway, which just about got in the lift.
Well, I wish you had. I mean, I don't know if that's going to be a suitable replacement.
If only people could see the beauty of the Casio keyboard.
Is it okay? Are you looking forward to having a go at that later?
It's my job. So, I'm always looking forward to sitting behind a piano.
I mean, we'll talk about music more in a second, but I mean, do you often turn up for things having not touched those particular ivories before? I mean, are you playing on sort of all sorts of banged out old pianos and things?
Yeah, that's kind of par for the course being a pianist. Jules Holland was saying the other day, you've kind of got to fall in love quite quickly with every piano that turns up.
Because they're all different.
You've never played it before. They're all different.
Yes.
But that's the nature of it. I can't carry around my violin.
No.
Because I don't play it. Simply.
Well, we'll have some music shortly and all sorts of tricks that you get up to. But first of all, come on, talk about cricket. This is your game, isn't it?
This is my game. Yeah, I've been a cricket tragic since I was probably 5, I think. And my dad took me to the Oval. And I used to go and see him play as well. My dad was a part of the Lord's Taverners team, the vintage of the 80s.
Yeah, they were great fun, those games, weren't they?
They were amazing. And people used to come in their thousands. Yep. They were big news back then. And it was a nice mixture of celebs, but also old pros. So I grew up, knowing about Fred Rumsey, Butch White, Farouk Engineer.
Yes.
Do you remember those?
Of course.
Days? And
I was lucky enough to play in some of those as well. I don't think I ever played with your dad, but...
Well, you wouldn't have got in. I mean, when Dad was opening bowling, he was quite famously the slowest bowler to ever have appeared for the Lord's Taverners. And in fact, there was someone, I think it was Bill Tidy, the cartoonist, who said, "Richard, you bowl so slowly, the ball comes down with ice on it." So it was just a lovely thing to go to those matches, to meet all these people who were a mixture of, like well-known celebrities. I mean, I met Eric Morecambe famously when I was 4, and I was crying my eyes out. I was miserable, clearly having a meltdown. Lots of parents out there will recognise the symptoms. Just in a huff in my pushchair. And Eric Morecambe came up to Mum and Dad and went, "Don't worry, I'll sort him out." And then proceeded to do 15 minutes of prime material. What? Everyone else rolling about, laughing. And I was just sat there stony-faced. I wouldn't budge. And people couldn't believe it. It was the best Eric Morecambe show they'd ever seen. And still, I wouldn't relent. And I was crying and crying and crying. And my mum always loves to say that Eric came up to her afterwards and said, "When he's older, tell him I took it well."
Isn't that a great line? Well, but they were really special those days.
Yeah,
you're right. All the different celebrities playing and raising money and
raising.
Thousands
remember them going around with the blanket. They used to have the blanket. The 4 of them would go round. So it'd be Mike Gatting and Gary Lineker and Linda Robson from TV, and people would chuck loads of coins in, and they'd raise thousands every match. And I loved that. That always have loved that that mix of cricket and charity, that they go in hand in hand. And I always thought cricket was the most...
Barbara Windsor, I remember being at one I've
Barbara
played.
Windsor,
Yes, I don't think she played. I think she just sort of, hovered around, and was just good company, because it was all about attracting people to come. David Frost was determined to bat the entire innings. I think someone in the end ran him out.
Excellent.
Because he was just simply not going to give his wicket away. But it was, great fun. So that sowed the seed then, really.
Yeah. And I was deep into it. I was just talking to your colleague Alison about poring over the papers, reading the Times, County Championship. I knew all the averages, in the 80s. That was my thing. And only a couple of friends at school had that shared love of, going deep into the figures. But that's something that, those of us who love that stuff about cricket is a huge part of it.
Yes. And playing? I mean, did you play with your dad?
I played quite badly.
Right.
I inherited Dad's skill. I was a non-spinning leg spinner.
Right.
I always saw myself as a kind of right-handed Brian Lara as a batsman.
Yes.
But it turns out I was more of a right-handed Stuart Broad, in that I just had a rush of blood to the head.
Yes.
I had all the technique in my head, and it never went well. I guess it was an unfortunate cricket career. I'm still kind of play when I can, but music and cricket don't go together well.
Do they?
In that either you're working, you're always
I see.
working on a Saturday, but also for the fingers as a pianist, it's not, it wouldn't be prescribed by your GP. There was that story of, was it Lashings, the team?
Yes.
Eric Clapton was playing, and there was this famous slip cordon. Eric Clapton, Bill Wyman, and Mick Jagger, I think they were all smoking.
Yes.
And Clapton, that was it. He was about to do his run of shows at the Albert Hall, 24 nights, I think, and he did this sort of regularly. And his manager said, "Look, you've got these gigs coming up, Eric. Whatever you do, don't play cricket." And of course, he gets asked the next, "Come on, Eric, come and play cricket with us." And he's standing in the slip cordon, goes for the catch, and his middle finger is bent right back, broke his hand, and then had to make a call to the manager.
That wouldn't be good.
You know how he said, "Don't play cricket"?
Yeah.
I've done it.
You're right. I remember Bill Wyman playing in a charity game, and you're right. I mean, he did have a fag on. He was bowling, and I think he bowled slower than your dad, actually.
Really? Impossible.
No,
I don't believe it.
He did, because dear old Charles Colville, who worked many years on Sky, of course, good friend of mine.
Yeah.
He walked out to bat. Sky was showing this live, this embarrassment, because Bill was bowling, and he had a fag on, and Charles arrived, and Bill has put his fag down on the ground, lobbed up this thing, which poor old Charles missed, bowled him first ball. And just pursued by his Sky cameras.
Love it.
Charles returned to the pavilion. Bill has picked his fag on and just carried on. So it can go together. So which team is your is your love then?
Well, I'm because of Dad. It's Surrey, but now I live in Brighton now. So Hove is just 5 minutes down the road. So I took my girls to one of the championship matches recently for the first time, and that was a joyous thing.
They've got a very good young team down there, or developing young team, to be fair, haven't they? Yeah.
I mean, Sussex it's fantastic. I mean, we live quite close to Jofra Archer, but just hoping he will get back to playing again.
Do you ever see him walking his dogs?
Never seen him walking his dogs.
Right.
I think he must have his own park, the Jofra Archer Park. Yes. No, I mean, just to take children, like we can see here. The children playing quick cricket on the ground, to bring them to a place like this and to show them that cricket, it's not just full of rules and averages and regulations.
And old people.
It's a sport that is the most, for me, it's got everything. It's kind of a mirror of life. It's the most exciting thing. It's tragic. It's tense. And talking about tense, I was in this horrible conflict yesterday, hoping England would get wickets, but also worried that there would be no play today, I guess.
Well, you'd miss again.
I mean, it was looking dicey. They were 36 for 4.
It
and I was thinking,
given that you love cricket, I'm assuming Test cricket.
Yes.
Particularly?
Test cricket number one, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, given all those wickets fell on the first day.
Yeah.
Do you like that, or do you think actually Test cricket is actually should be a bit deeper than this? There should be batsmen who actually can defend their wickets and not be rolled over quite so quickly.
Yeah.
People are paying a lot of money. There's quite a debate about ticket prices at the moment here.
Yeah.
150, 160 pounds, the most expensive. I mean, there are obviously ones that aren't as expensive as that, but is it in Test cricket's interest to have matches ending so quickly, do you think? It could end today.
It could. I think it is a bit of a worry. I think naturally I was drawn to batsmen growing up. I think my heroes, I had Brian Lara on the wall. I even had Mike Atherton on my wall. Don't tell him. Yeah, he was a hero for me because I grew up in a time when he was, the reliable, that I trusted him because it was a team that was really struggling, and he was often the one who came out, the only one who fought to the end. So I was naturally drawn to batting, and I love watching batting. But and I do I really admire, a great Test pitch when the bowlers can get on top. But that first day, 21 wickets, 17 wickets, and then 4 the next morning. That it's not Test cricket in the sense that there's application and all the things that we love about the game.
Yes.
It's a test of patience, it's a test of resilience and resolve. And it is, I think, because these cricketers are having to, flip between different formats, it's a problem, and they're not drilled in the red ball game enough before the start of the season.
It's like you flitting from different pianos.
I know.
Same sort of
well,
thing.
It's an odd thing, especially as a jazz musician. You do kind of have to get used to maybe 5-minute slot here and then a 3-hour gig. But I don't have to play faster or hit the piano harder.
No, but I'm with you. I do think that, and while we all love drama, and to sit here and describe drama, it is brilliant. It's what the job's about. But at the same time, I can't help but be really sort of defensive when it comes to Test cricket, and I want to stick up for Test cricket because it's very easy to do Test cricket now. And I thought it was quite depressing yesterday. You wouldn't have heard it, I don't think, but to hear the ICC boss more or less accepting that one-day cricket is going to rule the way, and that more and more teams won't play Test cricket over the years to come. And I thought I was really sad actually to hear the head man saying that. Even though you feel that he's probably right, but it's up to people like him to stop that from happening and not just accept it.
Yeah, you've got to have someone standing in the river, haven't you?
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of like going to see great opera or great plays or great shows. They don't let the public into the dress rehearsal. And there's a reason for that. It's not ready.
Yes.
The public are let in when it's ready, and you get the sense sometimes that people aren't giving enough preparation and enough respect for Test. This is the first Test of the summer, and no one was quite ready. Everyone was still in dress rehearsal.
Exactly.
Mode.
Yes.
And I think, for like you said, to make people pay that much money to come and watch a slightly undercooked first innings. I mean, it was exciting and it's great. And look, 17 wickets is exciting. But for those of us who care about the future of the game, and with 2 children,
very good comparison to. I might make a note of that. No, but it is true. It is like a dress rehearsal, and that slowly the summer warm up, and these. New Zealand will be ready.
Yeah, in this innings, if we don't win, we'll get close to the total, and we will be sort of ready in the second innings. But you're not. It's not fair to the people coming the first day of the season.
Yeah. I'm interested. You took your girls down to see it. Did you feel that cricket is now more of a game for? I don't know how old are your girls?
They're 7 and 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, 3 obviously a bit young, but the 7-year-old. Is she starting to get into cricket?
At school, they don't have it until I think a couple of years later. But definitely, there's the school team is not. It's girls and boys, and if she shows an interest, then I'll take her as much as she wants because I love it and I want to pass that on, and I want her to be better than me. Wouldn't that be good?
Not hard, by the sound.
Not hard. I mean, if only I could get out there. I still, there's an odd. But when you're an innately terrible cricketer, but you know so much about the game, we feel you know so much about the game. There's still a part of you that thinks you have your moment.
Well, I'm looking at some names here that you played with: Alan Lamb, Robin Smith. I mean, when you're playing with people like that.
Why have I played with those people? Andy Caddick, I played with. David Essex was keeping wicket. I mean,
how long ago was that? He must be getting on.
That was in the Channel Islands. That was my first time playing for the Lord's Taverners in Guernsey.
Right.
And then we played the first match ever on Sark which
Wow.
they had to get the sheep. I think they just chucked them in the sea, move the sheep off the field and mow a strip. The first ever game on Sark, and I was batting with Phil Mitchell. What's his name? Steve McFadden.
Right.
Phil
yes.
Mitchell from EastEnders.
Yes.
And Lorraine Chase was bowling.
That's interesting.
Yes. This is, commentate on that.
Yes.
I don't know who
How
was.
was Lorraine's? What was she?
She was very good. She bowled Steve McFadden first ball.
No.
And he let out some language that I cannot repeat on air. But it was echoing across the fields of Sark.
Gosh, the crowd would have loved that.
I
I mean,
mean-
who was there that day? If you were there on Sark that day and you saw Lorraine Chase taking that wicket, I'd love to hear from you.
was famous.
Drop us a note.
Famous days.
Yes.
But yeah, to be able to play, that's the mad thing. I know they do charity football matches, but you wouldn't be able to play, ever to play with heroes like that on a rugby field. The lovely thing about cricket is that I watched my dad playing with Gordon Greenwich and people like that, and meeting Clive Lloyd and Tendulkar, and then for me to be able to play with these heroes of mine, pretty astonishing. So I love that about cricket. I really do.
I'll talk about your music now. What's been your biggest live audience?
Well, in fact, Christmas Day last year, I was in Dubai playing to 8,000 people.
Oh, is that all? Oh, he's playing for the millions now.
It's millions now. Yes,
In
today.
about 2 minutes.
Yes. I've just did a big show at the Barbican as well to launch this new album we've done, which was with the full orchestra, and it was especially lovely coming out of lockdown when I was literally in my shed, as you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
I was in my shed broadcasting online to YouTube.
How do you make a shed acoustically?
Acoustically, it was poor, Jonathan.
Yes.
There were. If there are any good shed builders out there who can come and acoustically treat, or in fact make a door that fits, because
I suppose it didn't matter, did it? Really?
no, it didn't matter. I was just there.
You're in your shed, and that's it.
I had my phone or my laptop, and that's all I had. I was just me and the piano broadcasting, hoping there would be an audience. There was an audience, and they started requesting songs, and that's how we started.
Which is what you. This is moving on to what you do, and the skill that you have in just. I've seen you in action. Songs just being shouted out from an audience.
Oh, of course, yeah, we were over there. That's
we were
where
in the long room.
Yeah,
and I thought and you just somehow put it all together. I've seen your dad do it with words, of course, which is his great party trick.
Yes, Dad had this brain where he could write a song on the spot, and it would be immaculate, perfect.
Words shouted out by totally random words shouted out by an audience.
Whereas my thing, I could always play by ear. And then my piano teacher said, use your hands, it's better. No, I could... once I heard a tune, I could play it. And I remember...
But all of it. I mean, not
all
just
of
the
it.
dink, 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 but
Not
the whole harmony.
Yeah,
and
but I
everything.
learned how to do that because I learned harmony and how songs went. But I remember the first time I did it was a gig where I'd run out of material. I thought, what do I do now? So I just said, any requests? And I used to play in piano bars where people would come in and just request anything. Yeah, yeah, slam a 50 on the piano.
Yeah.
That never happened, by the way.
Play it again, Sam.
Play it again, Sam.
Well, play us something
Yes.
now. Let's get in a bouncy mood, and then we're going to challenge you, because I've been around the commentary boxes, and we're going to explain to people what it is that you do, which I must admit, it just took my breath away when I heard this as a wannabe musician. But what are you going to play for us? Oh, listen to that. It
How's
does
that?
work. It actually works.
We're here. I'm sounding quite echoey. How does that sound?
Sounds echoey and reverby.
Lovely. Well, let's pretend I'm in the Barbican. So this is on the new album. This album is a kind of love letter to theatre and my, the family business. So this is Cabaret. What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book, and the broom. It's time for a holiday. taste the wine. Come hear the band. Come blow your horn, start celebrating. Right this way, your table's waiting. What good's permitting some prophet of doom to wipe every smile away? Life is a cabaret, oh chum. Come to the cabaret. I used to have a girlfriend known as Elsie, with whom I shared 4 sordid rooms in Chelsea. She wasn't what you'd call a blushing flower. As a matter of fact, she rented by the hour. The day she died, the neighbors came to snicker. Ha! Well, that's what comes from too much pills and liquor. But when I saw her laid out like a queen, she was the happiest corpse I'd ever seen. I think of Elsie to this very day. I remember how she turned to me and said, what good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. And as for me, I made my mind up back in Chelsea. When I go, I'm going like Elsie. Start by admitting from cradle to tomb, it isn't that long a stay. I guess it's doing his high kicks. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come on, Jonathan. Only a cabaret, old chum. Life is a cabaret, old chum. And I love, oh, I love a cabaret that lasts 5 days.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
wow. What do you say about that? That's... well, it's brilliant. Come here. Joe Stilgoe is our guest, and I mean, just listen to that for talent. I mean, you have got some great musical genes. I mean, your mum and your dad. You know, it doesn't always hand down, does it? But you've been dealt some really good cards.
Yeah, and all they did was just instill in me a love of music, and they were just there as a support. And to watch them do it was important as well, to see it as a kind of achievable, vaguely normal existence.
Yeah.
You know, to see Dad in concert or on TV. And I was lucky enough to watch my mum, who didn't sing. She stopped singing around about when I was 7 or 8, I think.
Right.
But before that was singing Glyndebourne,
Yeah.
all over the place as a fantastic operatic mezzo soprano, and so musical, one of the most musical people I've ever met, and coupled with Dad's brain and his music. I mean, you would think it would be inevitable, but as ever with children, it
never
isn't.
know.
And I wanted to be an estate agent. I also, obviously wanted to be a test opener,
Yes.
but the door for that was slammed shut.
And following such a famous musician as well. I mean, that's quite a brave thing to do, isn't it? I mean, the contributions that your dad made to West End shows as well. On our television screens virtually every night in the 70s and nationwide.
Yeah, I often think about that with sports people as well. You know, it's hard. It's hard because you've always got a reputation to live up to. But there's what I find it's only ever a beneficial thing in that people always come up and say, "I loved working with your dad," or "Nice to see you doing something similar." I mean, I suppose I moved into the jazz world when I started becoming a musician because I played the piano and sang, and that's what Dad was known for. Whereas he was known for writing very witty, brilliant, topical songs on TV and for musicals, I sort of wanted to make my own way, carve my own niche, as they say. Which is, I suppose, is...
There's something similar, because I've got here...
Yes.
I've seen your dad in action, obviously, charity dues, where he'll come on and say, right, shout out some words, and he gets all these random words thrown at him from the audience. And you'll say, OK, he'll jot them down, disappear for 20 minutes, half an hour or something, come back between courses and just perform the song that he's written with those random words in it.
Yeah.
Now, I got to say, I think you've taken that a stage further, because you shout out to the audience... Shout out songs as random as you like, and which people do.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and put it all together as a medley.
No one else will do it. That's why. There's no one else playing.
I don't know how you do it. So what I've done here, I've been busy this morning.
Okay.
So I have got here. Do you want to go back to Keepers?
Yes.
Because you're going to play here the requests, if you like. These are one-off. This is one-off medleys. So I've been round the various commentary boxes. And I've been asking the commentators, because you've asked for, I think, about five songs, isn't it?
I just say, shout out any song.
You still sound like you're in an empty Albert Hall, but you're not. You're there. It's okay. It sounds great.
Okay.
Either there or in the toilet. One of the two. Anyway, what we have got here then are the requests, and I'll reveal who requested each particular song after you've done it. But this is an example of what you do, isn't it? So if I'm giving you Ring of Fire,
okay,
Johnny Cash. I'm giving you Beethoven's Pathetique, the second movement.
Okay.
That's the nice one. Yeah. That's the nice slow one.
Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty.
Right.
Got My Mojo Working.
Yeah.
And the Test Match Special theme.
Right.
Those are your five to start with. Ring of Fire, Pathetique, Humpty Dumpty, Got My Mojo Working, and the TMS theme.
Okay.
And you have not seen these, so...
Well, I also don't know any of those. So what do I do now?
Well, you make it up.
I think they're starting, aren't they?
No, they're not starting. You've got 10... Ring of Fire.
Mojo Working. Got it. Love is a burning ring, and it makes Jonathan Agnew sing. Humpty was a bit of a dumpty. Oh, but he played that thing. I went into a burning ring of fire, and I burn, burn, burn. I only know the first line of every song. Is this it?
Beautiful. Just like my ring of fire, got my mojo working, and my Pathetic's preaching to the choir. So when Humpty Dumpty is broken up, play the thing. Wow, well, you've ticked them all off. Of course you have. How do you do it? I mean, before I give you your next one.
Why do I do it?
But, how do you do it? I mean, what key are you going to start in?
I don't know. It's blank. So I never think about the key. It's just... If I started thinking about it, I'd go mad. So I know, because you play the piano, so you're thinking, I need...
Music. I
need something to look at.
Yes.
Yeah, I just have it in my head, and I can move around. I never know any song in a particular key. I just sort of see if it works. Give me some more.
Sky Television.
Oh, okay.
8 Miles High. Oh, I'll reveal. Ring of Fire was Alistair Cook. Pathetique Beethoven was
That's
obviously...
why Alistair Cook
Ob-
is avoiding eye contact.
obviously mine,
You've
with
ruined my
a
song.
classical. Humpty Dumpty was obviously Tuffers. I've got my mojo working with Andy Zoltzman. The TMS theme was, of course, the producer and Adam Mountford. Now, Sky.
Okay.
8 Miles High.
Don't
the
know
Birds.
it.
You don't know it. We'll skip that one out then.
Yeah,
The theme from Blackadder.
got it.
Heaven knows I'm miserable now. You can have a guess who that was. That's by the Smiths.
Okay.
And Waltzing Matilda.
Was that Mike Atherton?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Waltzing Matilda, Mark Taylor, a special guest.
Right. Oh, gosh.
8 Miles High, theme from Blackadder. Heaven knows I'm miserable now, Waltzing
Right,
Matilda.
8 Miles High. If I don't know it, I can't play it.
No, you
I mean,
can't.
I imagine
We'll let you off, though.
Okay. Right, for This Is Sky. We were hoping Alex Lees would score a century. Heaven knows he's miserable now. Heaven knows he's miserable now. We love you, Alex. Just stop leaving the ball in the channel.
When did you first hear jazz? When did you first... Because it's not something that you necessarily encounter particularly young, is it? Or perhaps it is. I don't know. In your house it might have been.
No, not really, actually. I remember hearing it. I think I was just looking through some Dad's old records, and there was a Sinatra record and one by Andre Previn, whom lots of people know as a conductor and a composer. But it was a great jazz pianist. And I remember saying to my parents, I want to know more about jazz. So there was a Christmas, and Dad went to Virgin Megastore. Other megastores were available at the time. And said he went into the jazz department and said, my son's interested. What should he have? So I got a selection of 5 CDs, and I just loved the sound, and I loved the way that they could take a tune and do something mad with it. That's, I suppose, what I love. Intrinsically, jazz means that, it's like improvising, in 2020. There's the technique required to make sure that you hit the ball, but you can do anything you want with it after that. And it's the same as playing the piano. So think of us just one song, any song.
Quite complex chord structures, aren't they?
They can be. They can be. Often with jazz, there's just one chord. Something modern like that, or you could be, a lot of jazz is based on those great old songs by, Gershwin and Cole Porter. So you would improvise over the changes. So can you think of a song that comes to mind?
I'm giving you another BBC television.
Okay.
I'm going to give you one more of these.
Right.
I guess you want to improvise an entire song.
I think maybe next time.
Adam's put his hand up. We've got 2 minutes to go. Is that all we've
2
got?
minutes,
We've got a 2-minute medley. Supersonic Oasis.
Right. Who was that?
That was Isha. You Can Call Me Al.
Yes.
Alison Mitchell. Wind the Bobbin Up.
Right.
Tim Peach, our producer on TV. Rivers of Babylon.
Right.
Craig McMillan. This Old House. Michael Vaughan.
This Old House.
Yeah.
Really? Shakin'
I was a bit
Stevens.
surprised by that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised.
Everyone's really up to date. It's great.
Yeah.
Right. the rivers of Babylon. I was wondering. I really don't know this. Why is this your favourite song, Michael Vaughan? Walks down the street and he says, why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle now? The rest of my life's so hard. Have we got 1 minute left? 20 seconds. What was the third one? I've forgotten the third one.
Wind the bobbin up.
Oh, yes.
Bravo. Well done, Joe. That's
Thank
brilliant.
you.
Brilliant and perfect timing as well. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
I've loved it.
We've
Thank you
really
so much.
enjoyed having you come here today. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Agus.
Joe Stilgoe, what an extraordinary talent. What a wonderful noise. And who'd thought that clapped out looking keyboard there could produce a sound like that?